and I ended up going to attend some counseling in a shelter where these raped women are gathering. And I listened. I used to come, and at the beginning it was not easy for them to accept my presence. And then at any time I come, sometimes I bring soap, like cakes. I just make myself familiar with them. And then they open up and they start to talk about their experiences, and that's how the lines of the storytelling became in my face, you know, and it was really present all the time. That I wake up in the morning, and I was having these voices of this young girl, 15, 16, 17 years old, abandoned by the society, um, who dare not to go to their family because they come from the countryside and they came in town to look for work, and they ended up being pregnant, raped by their boss, or by somebody who don't recognize that they were the perpetrators. So they ended up being really alone, and this loneliness was very touching for me. And if you look at the film, the last scene of the film, all this monologue of Awa is a condensation of all the uh, 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 sentences that I heard from them. You know, and just I grab all these sentences and I write a long text for the judgment at the end. So for me, Hale became by force the third part of this trilogy. I'm saying trilogy, but maybe I will make another one, and I don't know how to call it, and then another one. For the moment, we can say that this is the trilogy starting with Tableau Ferra in 97, 2002, with Madame Brouette, and 2022 with Khaled.
So, Musa, what's your overall reading of the situation of women in Senegal today?
Um, I'm very, I'm very, it's a very ambiguous situation. I used to say when women ask, yeah, Musa, you are a feminist. I say, I'm not a feminist, in fact. I'm just a person who respects humanity. A man, for me, is a man. A woman is a woman. There is a reason there is a man and there is a woman. And they both have the rights in the society. Sometimes the society is uh, bending on men's side and give less power to women. And I'm struggling against that, because I think that women has the same rights in terms of action in the society. And I would say even that because of education, that they are in charge of the education of the children, because they are in charge of handling the household, because they are in charge of the peace in the society and within the family, because they are also our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, our our lovers, our wives. They have this, Truffaut said one thing that I really like. Truffaut says that in love, women are professional and men are amateur. And I think that this is such a beautiful saying. Um, and in Senegal, more and more we hear these voices, radical feminism, stating that they wanna fight against man. I say no, man. There's no fight needed. You know, as long as everybody is respecting the other part, that we understand uh, the power of this harmony. Uh, in one of my film, Abu Kamara says a very important sentence. I put in his mouth. He says in Wolof, na góor ñi jël jigéen ñi ni yaay jàmbur warmal leen, góor ñi jël jigéen ñi jël góor ñi ni bàyyi jàmbur warmal leen. And I think that this is for me the definition of the harmony in a society. We are not a Western society where women are fighting against men. And at the end of it, I could say that a man become emasculated. Excuse me to talk like this, but I feel like they are battling the wrong fight. It is not the right fight. The right fight is how to bring harmony in life, how to bring humanity in life, how we can share our differences and make it in a meeting point where we will bridge our differences instead of building walls, and I think that many African women are falling in this trap of Western conception of equality, kind of a sort of what is equality, and all this discussion about gender, about and we don't have these issues. If you go to Casamance, or you go to Ouagadougou, or you go to it's just like a few a bunch of happy few women who have been raised or educated in the Western way that are claiming that. But my mom or my aunts or my sisters in the countryside, they are so happy living what they're living, and they are fighting every day for equality. You understand? So I think that there is a big issue about this gender issue that is so obvious in the West, but we don't have to take it as granted in our society, which is very different from the Western society.
All right. No, I hear you. And given what you just said about women in society, the gender non-issue, what do you see the role of film playing in moderating the communication, the dialogue, or in stimulating a certain level of understanding between men and women and the direction society is taking?
No, I mean, if you look at my films, I'm always trying to bring this kind of a harmony, and also always to be part, always to put myself in the women's side, always defending the power of women, because I believe in it. I believe that sometimes there is such a injustice towards women. That's not fair. I fight that. I am aware of that. But it doesn't mean that there is an antinomy, a big rupture, a big break between men and women, and that they cannot live together. It's like the tongue, and like I say in Tableau Ferraille, it's like the tongue and the teeth. Sometimes the teeth bite the tongue, but it's not because the teeth bite the tongue that the tongue will move and live somewhere else. They have to live together. Of course, sometimes they have to have some friction, some misunderstanding, uh, uh, and they clash together, but they have to live together. So and I do believe that in my films, what I'm trying to do is at any time to see what's going wrong in the society. How can I tell stories that bring harmony, that makes the others be aware of our fragility, our our humanity, but also facing the addressing the big issues of our community. What are our problems and how to solve it? That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. And Musa, I know that making film is a big adventure in Senegal. It's very costly, it's very expensive. Can you tell me a little bit about the challenges you faced making Kale, for example?
Oh, it has been very difficult, in fact, because you know um, a film is costly. It costs a lot of money, and but this film, like I did it, is like uh, $400,000, which is nothing regarding to the film, because I was supposed to do it with the Canadian co-production, and it was evaluated to almost $2 million, and I succeed doing it with $400,000, which is not a big amount of money film wise. But the problem is, of course, I had the support of the FOPICA, which is a national fund for films,
Musa,
and
are you moving?
I
Okay.
have some fund. I have some fund from Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, and some fund from Red Sea. That's all. These are the main finances of the film. And of course, if you make a film with $400,000, if I made a film with $400,000, dimension of Khale here in the States, with the system of distribution, I could have been a millionaire or maybe a billionaire, you know. But it's not the case in Senegal because we don't have distribution facilities. We have only in the entire country not more than six, I mean, let's say 10 screens in the whole country, 10 screens. So where you go with that? How can you get back the money, $400,000, with in a place where there is no distribution facilities, and you count on renting the film, having some festival rentals, university rentals, some TV buyers. Well, it's like $4,000 a year, $2,000 a year. I mean, you will not make it in 10 years. You cannot make it. So it's kind of it's a very complex situation. But I used to say that film is so important for the community because it's a memory of a society, and as such, there is no price for it, because I'm sure in 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, all this film will be valued in the continent and in the country, that all the people will know about it, will look about it and pay tribute to our work. It's not it's a, if you look at a film like Black Girl, from Semben, or Tukibuki, it's only now that these films are having money. It's now. I remember when Tukibuki was released in the 70s. I remember going to the cinema, and I hated that film. I was saying, though, why do I pay to go to see this film? This is, and then, you know, 30 years later, 25 years later, I discover a masterpiece. And the entire world is celebrating this film. So it's not a question of time. It's a question of the moment. A film has a life, and the life of a film is endless. I used to say to my student that filmmaking is like kuy kale yàlla, comme yàlla nga def ko kal. Xam nga dañuy kalante séeréer ak pulaar ak noonu la mel. dafa mel ni da ngay kale yàlla, parce que da ngay fekk loo xamee nii yàlla defar na ko, jox ko ruu, di jël ruum, yow nga jël ruu googu ni du dem. xoolal xale ñi ci nekk, xoolal xala ñu nekkoon ci xala boo ko seetaanee, même tableau ferraille rek. Even if you look at tableau ferraille, you can see that half of the actors passed away. But you see them still today, they are dancing, they are laughing, they are in love, they are beautiful. It's like you put it in a fridge, kind of, the soul of these people that will stay fresh for all lifetime. But this is magic. Only for that, it's worth making film. Because you keep the memory, you keep the soul of the people, you make them alive, and you are a part of a memory of the society.
Yeah, totally. Now, you just mentioned theaters. There are not a lot of theaters in Senegal. Now, I know that most theaters will close. And so the theaters you're talking about are mainly in Dakar, right?
All the theaters are in Dakar. And what is extraordinary is that, they cost a lot, like 3,000 CFA to go and see a film. Even the students can't pay that. So it's a kind of the bourgeois society can go and see films. If you go in Pate or Canal or Complex Semben, you will see that only rich people are going there. You don't see the people from the neighborhood of Tableau Ferraille or Tikin or Gejawai or even students come and look at the film because it's costly. And I think that this is a big issue we have to address, and the new government is working on it. And with these 8 development poles that they are working on, we're trying to give them ideas how we can integrate films in all these 8 departments.
Yeah. All right. Now, Musa, I know that Macky Sall's government used to help filmmakers, right, through FOPICA. So can you tell me a little bit more about FOPICA and where it stands today?
No, yeah, Tropica is a good idea, but the management and the way it should be in terms of kick of filmmaking is not there because it's too heavy system. I think that, and that's my idea. My idea is that we need to have a national center for cinema, which is completely independent from the Ministry of Culture. Even though we have some members of the Ministry of Culture who are there, but the way they are structured in terms of commissioning films, selecting the subject, financing the film, looking for partners abroad, how we can make like co-production treaties, and all these things must be done throughout a national film center. And I think this is the only way that we can really target tackle the problems that films have in nowadays in Senegal.
So overall, what's your appreciation of the cinema the cinema situation in Senegal today? Are you hopeful? Are you optimistic that things are going to get better? What keeps you going as a filmmaker?
I'm a very optimistic person normally, but something happened in our environment of cinema is that people don't understand the power of, the soft power within cinema. And we ended up having French-born Senegalese who are prioritized because they are French. They are the ones who have a lot of money to make films because of their French nationality. They are the ones who are pushed by the French because it's a way to make French presence invisible, because these are black people like me, but they're working for indirectly for the French soft power. In fact, but people don't understand that. They say, oh, they are Senegalese. Of course they are Senegalese. Of course that's not their fault to be Senegalese and French. But at the end of the day, they are French first and Senegalese after. But they can go in this fund and take more money than I do, because I have only one nationality. And this is a big problem. Nobody dare talk about it, but I talk about it because this is a serious problem in terms of soft power. The French government is using the French national with African background, African origin, to put them in the front line. so that they will not. It's the way to make them, to make the soft power invisible. But people don't understand that. I do, and I raise my voice for that. I'm not against anybody, but I'm just telling the situation, and that's the truth.
Okay, all right. I know that the political situation has changed in Senegal. Now we have a new government with Diomaye Faye and Sonko. Are you hopeful that a lot of the things that you're talking about will change, will improve?
I believe in it. I believe in it, but at the same time, I was talking. Look, last month, President Diomaye Faye received Omar Sy, and then 1 week later, Mati Diop. Right? They are all Senegalese, but they are all friends. They don't receive me, so this is my problem. But of course, I do believe that they are ready to change the situation. They, because maybe they don't understand what I'm talking about. And that's why I wanted to meet them, to make them aware of the importance of the soft power through cinema. Because they have to understand that. So um, they have so many visions, and also the other thing is that we don't have a minister of culture. We have a minister of sport, youth, and culture. And you cannot get out from all these dramatic situations, dramatic years where Macky Sall had put the country, where he destroyed all the fundamentals of our coexistence, all the dreams of the youth. He destroyed our, our common sense of living together. He destroyed everything. So we needed to have a minister of culture that will stand to make these ends meet and try to réenchanter l'homo sénégalensis. Réenchanter les imaginaires, réarmer les imaginaires. Et ça, il fallait un ministère de la culture de plein droit.
Okay. All right. So Moussa, I know you're about to take your flight today, back to Senegal. Today is February 16th, 2025, right? Sorry, this interview came very late. Yeah, but do you have any last word for the festival?
I think this festival is a very, from what I saw Friday, 14, I was just like the people who are very hungry about African images. I can see it in their faces. They need African stories to be told throughout the cinema, or maybe throughout all the media. And I think this festival has to be more wide, going to the schools, of course, but going to theaters and to communities, bring all the communities together, as a boundary, a place where all the differences are there, and from what I saw during this festival is that there are so many good energy, there is a fantastic will, and people want to make something great. So I think that the government, the local governor, or all these authorities throughout this region has to be part of this festival and help this festival to raise more and more.